On 7's afternoon news, keep your distance. Australians warned coronavirus restrictions won't be lifted for some time. Fears of a new cruise ship crisis, the mission to bring Australian passengers home from South America. Easter tragedy, a mother and her young son killed in a unit fire. And a holiday at home, the great Aussie camp out tonight in your own backyard.
This is 7 News with Katrina Blowers.
Good afternoon. Medical experts are warning Australians to remain vigilant and continue abiding by strict social distancing measures this Easter weekend. Tim Lester is in Canberra, and Tim, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer, says those restrictions will be in place for some time.
In fact, Katrina, Dr Nick Coatsworth says that there will be many weeks more of sustained falls in the numbers of new coronavirus cases before medical authorities are satisfied that restrictions can be eased. This runs counter a little bit to much of the state talk about, for example, resumptions of football codes and the like, and relaxation of restrictions in other areas. Instead, Dr Coatsworth congratulates Australians on what he says is an historic and unprecedented adoption of social distancing rules, and up until now, and including Easter, a great success from Australians in the way they've taken to the new rules.
But it's certainly too early to be talking about relaxation at the moment. It is something that we're thinking about. It was very fast into the restrictions and they were very widespread. It needs to be very nuanced on the way out.
And Tim, the government is providing further support for charities.
Yes, Katrina, this is a recognition that charities have been under deep pressure and growing pressure as more Australian businesses close and the numbers who rely on charities grows. The government recently announced they'll receive $200 million to deliver urgent relief. Now, today it confirmed that half of that funding, $100 million, will be rolled out from next week, distributing between more than 300 charities and community organisations across the country. They'll ensure food hampers can reach homes through Food Bank Australia and Oz Harvest, among others, as well funding for St Vincent de Paul and the Red Cross to support 30,000 temporary migrants who are not eligible for the government's wage subsidies. All of this coming as the government looks to bolster support mechanisms as the crisis, the economic crisis caused by coronavirus deepens. Katrina?
All right, thank you, Tim Lester in Canberra. The State Minister forced to resign for breaching COVID lockdown laws has made his first appearance since the scandal broke. It comes as the New South Wales Premier backed police over their $1,000 fine. Alex Hart reports.
Don Harwin refused to answer questions when he returned home here earlier this afternoon. The Upper House Liberal MP went out for his morning walk and a cup of coffee at around about 8 a.m. and returned 6 hours later with a shopping bag. The outgoing Arts Minister still with a smile on his face after being forced to resign from Cabinet last night.
I'm not saying anything beyond what I said yesterday, thanks.
What did you say yesterday? Sorry, can you just reiterate that for us? You're sorry to the people of New South Wales? Did you make an honest mistake, do you think, Mr Hart? How are you doing personally? In his statement, he said he believed he didn't breach coronavirus public health orders. Police fined him for staying at his holiday home on the Central Coast instead of his primary place of residence, but wouldn't elaborate on the fine today.
All I can say is that there was a complaint received by police, an investigation conducted and an infringement issued.
Well, obviously, when police undertook their investigations and made their decision, I have to back the police.
The Premier says she is in no hurry to fill Mr Harwin's position in Cabinet.
In the interim, I'll be taking on his responsibilities.
We are very supportive of the decision that he has made and he had no choice, really.
Despite resigning from the front bench, it's understood Don Harwin has no intention of ending his 21-year parliamentary career.
The death toll has risen once more in New South Wales, with the state's Premier warning the worst is yet to come. But despite the latest casualty of the virus, health authorities are confident social distancing measures are working. Peter Figan reports.
Well, despite there being a drop in the number of new cases here in New South Wales overnight, the Premier delivered a very dire Easter message today where she quite simply said the worst is yet to come. 44 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours, taking the state's total to 2,857. Unfortunately, a 91-year-old woman has become the latest fatality. She is now the 23rd person to die from the virus in the state.
It doesn't matter what the time, it's always tough when a family member passes away. And this is the toughest of times.
Now, in some lighter news, there was an Easter gift today for 1,300 people who were given the all clear to head home. These are the passengers that arrived into Sydney on the 29th of March. Now, that was the day the rules changed. Anyone entering New South Wales from an overseas country is now required to quarantine for a period of 14 days. Guarded by military and police, they stayed in a number of hotels around the city, and it was safe to say that most of them were very happy to be heading home today.
It had to be done. There are worse places to be.
No fresh air. Got really dusty during the week. Couldn't breathe properly. The air conditioning was terrible as well. Yeah, it was just a nightmare.
Now, interestingly, the New South Wales government was also quizzed on the National Rugby League today. ARL Commission Chairman Peter V'landys has said that he has a letter from the New South Wales government giving him permission to start both playing and training again in May. Although both the Premier and the Health Minister say the letter is not from either of them. But they also made it very clear that they never told the NRL they can't play.
The government did not stop rugby league playing. Rugby league stopped rugby league playing.
And just finally, the Premier has also credited the people of New South Wales for that infection rate dropping, saying for the most part, people are adhering to both the new rules and the health advice.
To Melbourne now, and a plane carrying up to 80 coronavirus patients is on its way to Australia on a Mercy flight home from South America. Tegan Doling, health authorities are fearing another cruise ship nightmare.
Yeah, that's right, Katrina. The plane is due to land here in Melbourne at 6:30 tomorrow morning. On board more than 100 Australians, and it is feared that at least 80 of them have tested positive to coronavirus. Now, they were all on board the Greg Mortimer cruise ship, which departed on the 15th of March on a voyage to Antarctica, but it has been docked off Monte Video for a couple of weeks. Now, after a number of mercy calls to the government, this repatriation flight was finally organised.
Anybody who needs to go to hospital will go to hospital, and the remaining passengers will go to quarantine in hotels. We are preparing in case that there is any deterioration on the plane. So we've been assured from those who've undertaken those medical assessments that the patients are fit to fly, but of course we're not leaving anything to chance.
As you heard, they all are fit to fly at the moment, but we know how quickly COVID-19 patients can go downhill. Our two major hospitals here in Melbourne are ready for an influx of patients. We've been told there will also be ambulances on the tarmac ready to take the sickest of patients straight to hospital. Those who are feeling okay will be sent on a bus to hotels for the 14-day quarantine, the isolation, because it seems as though Victoria Health has very much learnt from the Ruby Princess debacle. Katrina.
All right, thanks for the update. Tegan Doling in Melbourne. More than 500,000 Americans have now tested positive to COVID-19 as the death toll in the United States nears 20,000. US correspondent Paul Caddick reports.
Yeah, good evening. It seems every day the hopeful news still comes with so much tragic news here in the state of New York, which has now recorded more COVID-19 cases than any other country. The state's governor, though, today said he was cautiously optimistic, with the average rate of new hospitalisations still falling. And for the first time since the crisis began, there were fewer people in intensive care than there was the day before. But also yesterday, another 777 people died here in New York. The state's death toll now around 8,000, the nation's more than 18,000. As Donald Trump is again talking about reopening the economy, reopening the country, with 17 million Americans already filing for unemployment in the last 3 weeks. That's around 10% of the workforce. Donald Trump says it's something he'd like to see as early as next month, the reopening, but medical experts caution against reducing social distancing too soon, wanting to avoid a resurgence in cases and deaths.
We hope we're going to be able to fulfill a certain date, but we're not doing anything until we know that this country is going to be healthy.
We have not reached the peak And so every day we need to continue to do what we did yesterday and the week before.
As the nation last night honoured those healthcare and essential workers on the front line of the outbreak by lighting up blue more than 100 landmarks across the United States. A silent but very visual thank you to those working tirelessly to try and save lives, even at the risk of their own. From New York, it's back to you.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is back on his feet after being moved out of intensive care 2 days ago. His father appeared on radio saying his son's stay in hospital helped the country realise how serious the situation is.
If it can hit the Prime Minister, for heaven's sake, to use that American expression, he almost took one for the team.
980 people have died in the UK in the past 24 hours, with those figures expected to rise for at least another 2 weeks. Landlords and tenants at war. Up next, confusion reigns over what entitlements they're allowed to receive. Plus an Easter tragedy, a mother and son found dead after a fire on the Gold Coast, and how to navigate life with a newborn during the health crisis.
Every night, the latest answers all your critical questions.
Weeks of doubt for millions of school students has come to an end.
The experts.
We haven't had the unrestricted growth that we see in other countries.
What you need to know.
Australia in an incredible position.
Police have started their investigation.
Get the latest from 7 News every night.
These are challenging times. We understand how important it is to keep you, your family and your community up to date with all that's going on. So we're giving you 4 weeks free digital access to news you can trust. Now you can stay connected to breaking news and updates on health, finances and lifestyle information that affects you. Free. Search the advertiser offer. When it matters most, we're for you.
Hi, I'm Tammy Barton. I founded my budget to help people get through difficult times, just like Alyssa and Pete.
The initial phone call was free, and that relief that I felt when I hung up the phone just after talking to them, and I knew that there was a plan. For a free phone call, that's a pretty good feeling to have.
We're offering free phone appointments for every Australian. Call My Budget today from the convenience of your own home.
If your car got hit by hail, that could be 100% disastrous. Or if your home got storm damage, that could be 100% devastating. So it's reassuring to know QBE Insurance is 100% committed to helping you. Call 133 QBE today.
At All Type Roofing, Gutters and Verandas, we work hard to give you the best price. Call All Type for all verandas, all patios, all roofing, all guttering, all sheds, all roof rejuvenations. And we're Stratco Pavilion specialist builders.
We're committed to fair price quoting. We'll give you a fixed price on the spot.
We'll beat any quote by 5%, and you can get 60 months interest-free repayments. Best quality, lowest prices. All Type Roofing, Gutters and Verandas.
A mother and her 6-year-old son have died after a massive blaze ripped through a Gold Coast apartment block. The father managed to escape, but he couldn't save his family. Mac Lyon reports.
The trauma of this tragedy overnight was written on the faces of every resident from this Gold Coast unit complex. The fire started around 1:30am in the front apartment here on Back Street in Bigara Waters. A young family of 3 were inside. The blaze quickly spread through their home.
The fire was very extensive at that stage and police were unable, unfortunately, to get into the unit.
Witnesses have told 7 News the father, Nathan Moore, jumped from their second-storey balcony. His wife Shana and 6-year-old son Ollie were still trapped upstairs. Neighbours say she desperately tried to tie towels together to help them escape as her husband screamed for her to throw their child to safety.
Neighbours were actually giving us ladders to try and convince us to go in. However, it was just extremely dangerous and no one could have gone into that unit.
The fire then spread to neighbouring units and vehicles. It took 21 firefighters several hours to put it out. In the end, every apartment in the block was damaged. 2 were destroyed.
I got up and had a look, and next thing,
the whole place was just in flames. Yeah. It was frightening, really frightening.
This morning, police and fire investigators were left with the grim task of searching through the rubble to find the remains and try to work out what sparked this blaze.
Landlords and tenants are at war as confusion reigns over what entitlements they're allowed to receive in the wake of the coronavirus crisis. Tom Chadwick has more.
The coronavirus crisis is creating so much uncertainty at the moment, it seems that no industry is exempt. The real estate sector is in turmoil due to the lack of clarity on what rights renters have as opposed to landlords. If tenants lose their jobs or their salary is impacted as a result of the coronavirus lockdowns, paying rent is a huge issue.
We've asked it to be reduced and that's been turned down.
But as always, there is a knock-on effect. Roger Galway owns 6 investment properties and is concerned he won't be able to pay the mortgages because his tenants are out of work.
It'll be in bankruptcy to me, and if I can't pay the bank, then they're going to repossess my properties because I don't have the funds to pay that.
The government's lack of clarity on the issue is a concern.
There's a lot of misunderstanding between a deferment in rent and a reduction in rent. Deferment means that we'll defer the rent until things get better and the tenant pays it back. Reduction means that they're getting a reduced amount of rent.
With the coronavirus crisis looking like hanging around for the time being, so too will the uncertainty.
Good Friday Mass was like no other for Pope Francis. The pontiff presided over the Way of the Cross procession in St Peter's Square rather than in the traditional Colosseum venue. He reminded worshippers to try to take a positive out of this health crisis and acknowledge the feeling of solidarity. Navigating life as a new parent during the coronavirus crisis. After the break, advice for mums and dads needing some extra help. And a billionaire's record donation to boost the coronavirus battle.
The breaking announcements you need to know are on Sunrise.
We have all the latest developments.
The minute you're up, get up to the minute.
We have coverage from a team of reporters.
As we all experience Easter like never before.
Most people are doing the right thing.
Join us for the Brekkie Staycation.
Social distancing doesn't mean socially disconnected.
And a world of new ways to come together.
Hey, Sunrise.
It's Tones and I.
Daryl Braithwaite here.
Stay safe and take care of each other.
It's all on Sunrise.
Ornamental side pipes. Incredibly shiny rims. Glitter-dusted grille and wood sculpture. You'll find none of this on the new Skoda Kodiaq RS. With a bi-turbocharged engine that packs a serious punch, this is performance that's not for show. Skoda, simply clever.
Aaron is a business broker who works from home. Because he's mostly at home day and night, he could pay less on his home and contents insurance. Yui, it's home and contents insurance for individuals like Aaron. Yui, you insured.
Careful.
Can I borrow your car?
You're joking, right? If you're like me and don't let other people drive your car, you could really save with PD Insurance. PD Insurance has great rates if you're the only person who drives your car, and we're 100% online, making it quick, easy and great value. Visit PD Insurance and see how much you can save.
As all Australian families look to financially recover, Arise Solar is assisting with a first-time, no-deposit offer on the biggest home system. Arise Solar's recovery plan lets you install a massive 6.6 kilowatt premium system now for just $39.81 with no deposit and repayments over 21 months, so you can pay slowly while you save. Average lifetime savings from this system exceed $50,000. The Arise Solar recovery plan can only be offered for a limited time, so call today on 1-800-ARISE-SOLAR.
At Bunnings, we're here to help with some simple projects you can do while you're at home. Like sorting out your wardrobe storage. You can shop online, order what you need, and we'll bundle it up for you. It's like having the warehouse at your fingertips.
Billionaire Gina Rinehart has donated $6 million to help in the fight against coronavirus. The record donation to the Royal Flying Doctor Service will help purchase ventilators, intravenous pumps and cardiac monitors for all aircraft and bases across the country. The RFDS has already transported 110 suspected or confirmed COVID-19 patients during the pandemic. Let's have a quick look at today's sports now with Pat Welsh.
Katrina, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The NRL's doubled down on its planned comeback, insisting they have government permission to reignite their season. ARL Chairman Peter V'landys told 7 News under the New South Wales health order, both racing and sport are allowed. We've also received a letter from the relevant government authority allowing us to play and train. But what about Queensland?
For any exceptions, they would need to apply to our Chief Health Officer and she would consider those on their merits.
Personally, if we could be watching rugby league when we're sitting at home, I'd like it. But you know what? Still got to make sure that the teams are safe, the people who are coaching them are safe, and the people who make those decisions are our health authorities.
The NRL's plan is to restart in 7 weeks on May 28. As the momentum for AFL hubs builds, dual premiership Tiger Basher Hooley admits he'd seriously consider choosing family over footy. The Richmond veteran also says a proposed list cull could make for a difficult decision at the end of 2020.
I'm a person that will put my hand up and say, you know what, if it's for the best of the club, no problems at all. So, like I said, there's more to life than football.
A keen fisherman, Hooley's resigned to spending more time onshore instead of the water during the shutdown. It's been an international triumph in the $2 million Queen Elizabeth Stakes as the championships reached a climax in Sydney. Many tipped Japanese star down on premium to dominate, but a debe for England and Tom Marquand blew them away.
In fact, he's ripping clear now, and a big win for a debe in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
The day was a triumph for Glenn Boss as well, winning the Oaks on Colette for Godolphin and the Sydney Cup on Etta James as he passed Darren Beedman and Mick Dittman for Group 1 winners. We'll have lots more sport at 6.
Thanks, Pat. A growing number of parents are struggling to navigate life with their newborns as they're forced to stay indoors. Online birthing classes are helping mums and dads prepare and get the upper hand on their mental health. Amber Laidler reports.
Navigating life as a new parent can be stressful enough, but for mums and dads who have welcomed their baby into the world during this coronavirus pandemic, things have been a little more challenging. Social distancing and gathering restrictions have forced many pre-birthing classes to be cancelled, but hospitals and midwives determined to ensure support is still available are now offering them online.
We just want women to not feel abandoned at this time.
I found it to be a really positive experience. So now I'm a lot calmer and I think I'm a lot more prepared for what's about to happen.
The post-birth experience has also been tricky, as not all services can be provided via the internet. National support group Perinatal Anxiety and Depression Australia has seen a 20% increase in calls from mums and dads needing some extra help.
We're seeing calls from people that are much earlier than we would have experienced before, so in the first 2 to 3 days of a baby's life.
The advice to any expecting or new parents needing some extra help is reach out to your hospital or services like Panda, who are now working to provide their support services online.
Up next, Paul Burt will update us with the latest weather forecast, plus how families are making the most of the Easter weekend at home.
Missing the footy? You betcha. Well, 7 Mate has got you covered. We're opening up 7's Footy Vault to bring you the best matches of all time. He's kicked a magnificent goal. Scores in time. Which classic matches will be dusted off for 7's Footy Vault tonight on 7 Mate.
Ladies, what's the first thing you take off when you get home? Your bra. Underwire digs, ouch, and back fat from bra straps is embarrassing. Introducing Ceramia, a bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable, you won't even know you're wearing a bra. Look and feel Ceramia good from the front, the back, the sides, even the straps. The secret is Ceramia's double conforming lifting straps. The lace strap is a lifting wrap, just criss and cross, to be cradled in comfort and youthfully lifted. Ceramia comes with adjustable support straps, so you get double the support, double the comfort, and double the smoothness, all without underwire. Ceramere gives you 360 degrees of soft, breathable fabric, designed with front and back cooling mesh ventilation, so hot air flows out and fresh air flows in.
I'm literally obsessed with this bra. It is super functional and super comfortable.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing.
I mean, look at it. Love it.
That's a bra that your body is supposed to fit. This is a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Ceramere fits all shapes and supports all sizes. A bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable, you won't even know you're wearing a bra. So no more cutting straps, no more poking underwire, and no more unsightly back fat. Call Global Shop Direct or go online to order Ceramere in your choice of black, white or nude for the low price on your screen. Want even more value? Upgrade your order and save with our Value 3-pack. You'll get one black, one white and one nude bra and save an amazing $70. If Ceramere isn't the most comfortable, soft bra you've ever worn, just send it back within 30 days for a full refund of the product price. Finally, a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Order Ceramere today.
Tonight, hundreds, if not thousands of families will be sleeping in their backyard as part of Australia's biggest camp out. The BCF campaign is encouraging people to holiday at home this long weekend. We've also heard, despite restrictions, the Easter Bunny has been given special permission to travel. Weather time now, here's Paul Burt.
Thanks for that, Katrina, and hello everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic Easter Saturday. I'll tell you what, up here in the Sunshine State, very warm conditions today, quite the opposite in the far southern majors. So let's have a look at the heat map now. You can see a lot of that action happening all the way from Perth, stretching through the central interior up into southern Queensland. But to the south, we're getting down to single digits overnight, particularly tomorrow. We'll jump into the satellite now, and you can see a complexity of trough systems and cold fronts pushing through Tasmania, the southern bight, and also through southern New South Wales and Victoria. Of course, that high sitting in the central interior is going to bring some clear conditions as it moves over the eastern seaboard over the coming days. There is a monsoonal trough in the far north at the moment hovering around Darwin. That will bring more storms. Tomorrow, that trough system and cold front moving further into the Tasman, we'll see a low deepening, and of course with that we'll see a trade wind coming up the eastern seaboard in the way of a southeast, and of course that'll also bring some cooler temperatures for most of the majors. 2 to 17 and clear for Canberra, 11 to 21 and clear for Sydney, top at 27 for Brisbane. Melbourne, a couple of storms, 11 to 16. Adelaide, 10 to 19, partly cloudy, few storms in Hobart, overcast for Perth and Darwin. From that monsoonal trough, once again, we're going to see a high of 33 and some storms. And of course, Katrina, with that, happy Easter, no matter what you're doing.
Thanks, Bertie. Well, that's 5 p.m. news for this Saturday. We'll have all the latest on our top stories in 7 News at 6. I'm Katrina Blowers. Bye for now.